take her home.
Hello and welcome to Station42, your weekly community and content-focused Star Citizen talk show. Today's show is hosted by the one and only Traz Ion. Say hello, Traz.
Hey guys, how's it going tonight?
And yours truly, the infamously smooth Vadran Malik.
I always wonder about how smooth you actually are, my good friend. Like, are you like peanut buttery smooth? Like, where did...
Peanut buttery
going to
smooth with
hell.
molasses and baby oil.
Sure thing. All right, man. Well, take us away with that in-fiction sponsor.
Hello and welcome to Grimhex, where your stay belongs, sir. We have your Phoenix tub hot and your champagne on ice. All you need to do to continue your lovely stay here with us is just use your Class 3 UEE paperwork, signed and star mapped for legality. Who the hell are we kidding? Grab your own damn bags, you rube, and haul yourself up and in. I'd suggest you hold on tight lest some grab and make you some nap time, and be spilling what little wealth you brought with us for the lot of us, them, not me. You can trust me. So, just tell me again, what kind of trouble sent you our way? Oh, that's good. That's real good. Now follow me just this way. Grimhex, not responsible for you, your dog, your things, your ship, your wife, the things you love, your future.
Well, all right then. And on that note, our broadcast is supported by the Star Citizen Facebook community, also known as Ready Player One, the Star Citizen subreddit, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and all those crazy, amazing content creators. Hey, one of which we have with us tonight, and of course the amazing people at CIG who keep our community alive and thriving.
Today it is my great pleasure to introduce our special guest, BoredGamer, a veritable pillar of the Star Citizen community, killing it by lack of hats and whatnot, all the way from the UK.
Hello.
He's a long
He's
time
a hater
backer.
of hats. Hater.
I mean,
He's head top intolerant. There you go.
no. So hats, they're fine. They just have their place. Their place is not indoors.
We're both wearing hats indoors, so we're really breaking his sub.
we're just wrecking his mojo tonight, man. It's all over it. But no, man, BoredGamer, he's from the UK. He's a longtime backer, epic level content creator, well known on YouTube and as a member of the Redacted community. Hey, man, welcome to the show.
I'm not. Hello, thank you for having me. I'm not that long a term backer, I don't think, compared to some people. I'm young blood compared to a lot of people here. 20 February-ish, 2014 is when I backed.
That's nice. The thing is, it's like we're that's still a while ago now. Like it's the time flies.
Yeah.
It does.
See, I backed in June 2014, so.
I suppose looking back at my original content and how crap it was, which would have started around then, it probably has been quite a while. I just haven't noticed. It doesn't seem like too long though, because it's only halfway through 2016.
Yeah.
I'm getting old now as well, so it when I was like 18, time seemed to go slowly. Yes. Now that I've gone past 31, time is a lot quicker. Yeah.
Fucker. I just turned 40.
Well,
33 here.
I'm young, I'm pretty, I've got all my own hair. Oh.
Ow. Ow.
So
self-trollage is worse trollage.
So for being a semi long-term backer, like what kind of fleet do you fly? Are you a huge collector? Or are you more on board with the one starting ship, going the classic gamer route?
So so I'm quite thrifty as a person.
Sure.
I think comes across a lot sometimes, but I also got money set aside for Star Citizen, literally to buy ships because I want that. Right. I'm doing a job where literally is to do with computer games. I'm buying some cool shit.
Yeah.
That said, I've spent about $1,000, and my fleet keeps on changing. Right. I keep on melting. I'm quite manic in my process. So anytime I see something I want, that's the thing I want the most.
Right.
At the moment, it's caterpillars, so I've got 4 of them.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Well, see, now getting one caterpillar I can understand. But if you're doing 4, that means at that point the other 3 are really for community. So in other words, are you a part of an organization? Are you do you have a tight friends group? Are you part of something big, something small?
Well, I'm semi-related to a lot of different orgs, like
Right.
including Test and just any org I could get involved with.
Yeah.
But I run one called Nomad Black, which I'll be doing content with,
Say the name
which is going to
again.
be
I missed it. I heard
Nomad Black.
Nomad Black. Okay.
The idea of it is it's going to be run slightly like a Roman forum, where every member has a vote, and we'll do like a weekly or fortnightly kind of like meeting of that will be filmed, and that will be done. So it's all going to be semi role play. It's not going to be
Very cool.
hardcore role play, but semi role play because
Sure.
most of the guys are people I know that are in my role play group.
Yeah.
Ah,
I
So
don't really see roleplay as going to be hard step because I mean this is kind of modern setting, modern future, whatever. And I mean just playing the game and talking the in-game relationship of guns and ships and where in the universe are you is pretty much in character. It's not like a a fantasy game or a historical game where you really have to reach for I guess a character concept. I mean basically you can bullshit your way through being in character in this.
yeah, so that's basically most of the guys out with are proper hardcore larpers. We like to get
Nice.
drunk, we like to hit people with foam weapons, and we like to do that for a prolonged period of time
See,
while running around in full plate mail, that sort of stuff.
I actually do. I've been LARPing, and I've done that for years. I actually designed my own system. I have a rule set. I've got a couple grand in weapons in the closet behind me.
Hmm.
But in America, like, the idea of having drinks and doing anything, physical like that would just never fly. It's a huge no here. It's really funny the difference in cultures and like you know, how
No, I know.
one culture will be
Well,
completely okay with it and handle it responsibly. But if we try
well,
to do that, our people would just make a mess of it.
no. So
Yes.
the one we went to,
Yes.
like it was called Empire.
Uh-huh.
There's about I think there's 2,000 people there.
Wow.
And we had our own bar. We made our own bar for our unit, and lots of people come down. And it was great. Great. We just drank all the time. We did some great role play. It was fun. It's and pretty much all the role plays I've ever done at LARP have been the same.
So
It just-
that actually reminds me. I had spoken with you briefly about wanting to pull you aside and have a conversation with you, and I never did reach back out to you because I think we were both busy. But so would you be interested in being a part of a Star Citizen lore-based, streamed, casted role play group where we have
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be
Because,
a hilariously good laugh.
yeah, I think I've been trying to look for a good gaming system that will, because like for instance, I've played a lot of Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons, and those games are great, but they're more oriented on like you're playing with your character, you're making love to your character sheet and all your stats and all your dice rolling and all of that, which I don't think translates quite as well to like an
Use
on-air-
D&D second. Use D&D second ed or something. That's easily malleable to any system.
Maybe I've heard Savage
Yeah, that's-
Worlds is probably more
Okay.
online. Yeah. So I was thinking that might be the system we use, and we'll set up a Facebook group for people to come on, and so we can have rotating DMs or rotating game masters that can take it out and basically, ideally over the long term, we might end up where we have a different groups playing once a week, and we just it's streamed
Nicole.
and we put it on the channel, and we set that bad puppy up. So it might be a lot of fun. But
Yep.
I
I'm
certainly
definitely
hope
up for it.
Batgirl's listening.
oh, she's on board. So that's another
Yeah.
player already. I mean, I know there's some gamers within the official dev teams. I don't know if they'd have the time or interest in being a part of it. But we can start with just regular players. I mean, there's no reason it's got to be just the big names or anything like that. But anyways, I'm gonna be a bounty hunter.
I'm going to be bounty hunted.
Yeah, I figure it'll be kind of like role playing in the Star Wars universe, in the sense that instead of everybody or like in Star Wars Galaxies, the video game, the MMO, before they released Jedi into it, like really Star Citizen will be the backdrop, but really it'll be almost like playing it'll be like Firefly or Serenity or Battlestar Galactica. It'll be more episodic. Every time we get in and play, it'll be like a single mission, or you're hired out of a hub like a Port Olisar or a Grimhex or something like that. So that way it makes it really open, so it's not necessarily a contiguous campaign, but more of a episodic thing. So anybody can step in and be the DM. You know, every one of us, whether we're DMing, we can DM one week and then play
That's
the
the
next.
most dangerous thing I've ever heard. Anyone can step in to be the DM.
Well, you know, week to week. I mean, they can try. If they suck at it, obviously, you know, their players aren't going to come back or no one's going to watch their damn channel.
Okay, Monkey, you rolled a 12. Traz, you're still in the bottomless pit.
Well, I just that's why I was saying Savage Worlds.
I mean,
I think is because I think it would be a good system that would keep the story flowing, and it's where it's less about the dice and stuff and more about us playing our characters, more storytelling oriented, which is unlike most of the gaming that I've done. I've always done more like you know, nerd out on your character's stats.
Min maxer.
Nah, I'm a hybrid gamer, both
But I could.
power gamer and a role player. So
It's like got a strength of like 21, but you got like an IQ of -2. Your intelligence scores drop down.
oh,
I've seen people that used to do that all the time. I'm sorry. Maybe that's a bias.
oh, you know what? You know what I forgot to do?
Record? He forgot to record again.
Motherfuckers.
That is funny. Poor Board. He's gonna.
Well, welcome to Station42, guys. We're recording now.
And I did the intro so well. You know, hey, guess what? I can use that intro for a third time. Thank you.
What? Me.
I'm gonna beat him.
You know,
After
we are
I
recording.
was so focused on watching our just making sure that I had the music signed in right, that I wasn't watching the changes on our introduction. So I totally botched that, guys. I'm just killing it tonight. Here we go. If you're watching on air, we've got hosted by Traz Ion and Vader Malik. Now we're moving on to additional support by Godric, OG Technical Lead, Irv Nation Commercial Content, and then moving on to tonight's guest host, BoredGamer. And then, oh my God, here we're going into the video. Oh, I just cannot believe I did that. Failed 2 weeks in a row. You know what? And I was getting made fun of by my sweetheart. She was like, "You need to post a sticky note that says hit record." Good grief.
I'm sorry, Traz.
All right, well, the good news for any listeners that are tuning in on YouTube when this goes live on YouTube and aren't with us live now, all you really missed was the introduction where we brought BoredGamer on.
Which I nailed. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Vedra nailed it. It was the best intro ever. Best intro ever. We did a little bit of new formatting. It was beautiful. And then we talked a lot of awesome stuff about some top secret tabletop Star Citizen roleplay gaming that's going to go to stream. So
Board has 4
I also shared the Konami code to get all the free ships. So.
Yeah, it was up, down, left, right, A, B, select, start, and you get a free Idris, I think, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, no big deal.
Pretty close.
I mean, it was just like a Corvette leak, I think. Like, Disco
Down to
flies
towards
out to your house and like leaks a hard drive full of content to you.
You'll leak on it, all right.
Well, that depends.
Sorry.
That was a good facial expression. Too bad it didn't carry over into live, but anyways. Okay, so anyway, so if you're listening from the YouTube tomorrow, this is BoredGamer.
Hello.
Killer content creator on YouTube and part of the redacted community, and right, so you probably all already know who he is because he's amazeballs. So I guess let's get into some Star Citizen content.
I just like to say that I think people put me on quite a high pedestal that I can't possibly ever reach. I mean, I'm just some guy with a YouTube channel. I'm a bit of an idiot, to be honest. I'm really good at reading sometimes and then regurgitating information. Anyone can do what I do. If you want to get into Star Citizen content creation, just go right ahead. I mean, no one else is doing it at the moment. You just go right in there.
You can say that, but the crowd's still gonna love you, man. Like you've got it down.
Yeah.
You've got a nice polished delivery, and your content is clean and just to the point. It's great. You know, I mean, there are some other
10 to 15 minutes.
YouTubers out
Thank
there,
you.
but still. So,
I'm very humbled by what you say. Thank you very much.
You know, hey, I was humbled that you had me on and interviewed me when we were at CitizenCon. Like, you know, I was like, wow, you know, I mean, yeah, I put together a Facebook group. Yay! I hit create group, and you know, and then, you know, tried
Accepted
to
the responsibility of
settle
moderating
arguments.
all these people.
Almost 5,500 people almost now. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. It's still growing.
Jeez.
And the thing is every time CIG does something big, it just blows up some more. So, but it's
They
it's
don't
good people.
advertise. They don't advertise the Facebook page.
Mm-mm.
That is
No, they
people
don't.
finding that organically. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I
That's
know. Like
all.
the subreddit's what at like 40,000 people. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. But
People are less invested with Reddit though, as in they're more likely just to click it. When you get people subscribing or following on Facebook, it's more intertwined with their personal lives
Yes.
rather than
Yes,
an
it
alias.
Yep.
it does create a completely different kind of environment. It's
You see who the person is.
yeah, and people are a little more socially accountable, so it's a little
Yes,
less
that's
troll
exactly
facey.
what it is. Social
Sort of.
accountability, which
Yep.
you don't have
Sort
on
of.
Reddit.
Yep, very much so.
Sort of socially accountable, Dave.
Well, more
There are still
socially.
quite a.
So
It's a fun thought
Mr.
there.
Irv Nation actually made it into the show tonight. Look at that, like a boss. He's hanging out in chat. We should drag him in here and make him ask questions too.
Wow.
Irv is he's one of he helped us do a lot of our show content back in the beginning, but like schedules and stuff always misaligned, so it's kind of hit and miss when we get graced by his lovely creativity. So but shout out Mr. Irv, you need to come visit some more, buddy. We miss you.
So, Monkey, what do you think about the lack of a Monday content?
So for me, it makes my job a lot easier because the 10 for there was the hardest thing for me to edit into the news. So from that point of view, my life's easier, and now I can just chop and change, reverse the verse and around the verse. Now, I really like the questions some of the questions that were asked in 10
Yeah.
for though. I love it when Chris Roberts does a 10 for the chairman, and the questions are all juicy, or there's been a couple of amazing 10 for the which had really great synergy with the two guys that were doing it. Like there would be jokes and they would fall off their chairs, and I just thought,
Yeah.
oh, this is amazing, and it was really really fun. But that said, you
Sometimes
occasionally
the 10 for the devs were better because Chris Roberts would always get sometimes he would just get crazy generic questions
that have been asked multiple times before, or were just
Right.
irrelevant to any form of
anything. It's like, who chooses these questions? Huh. Well, I'm having a hiccup with Skype, I think. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What is going on? Oh, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. We had an internet hiccup, it seemed like. Vadron still seems like he's dying in deep water. That's okay.
Aha.
Oh, he's rejoined us. Yay. Yeah, I don't
Well,
know. I'm a little sad. I keep expecting to have something on Monday because like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday rolls around and I'm like, man, there's been no information at all.
I think we're going to start to get stuff every day of the week, probably. I think that what they do is they'll break down ATV into components, and then just slot them in so that we'll have more focused content. So that's what I expect. I mean, that might not be what they do, but so I'm assuming they do.
I can see that. I think that may be good too because it'll mean that people can watch what they want to watch and they don't have to suffer through the parts they don't like. Because it's really funny. Like it's a very divided community. There are people that hate one segment but love one segment. So
Get that with anything you watch, though, don't you? Any sort of multiple component show.
Yep.
Ship shape and lore makers for me.
You didn't like or you do like?
I love them. That's something that I look forward to. Beyond, but as for some of the interviews, it's like, well, I can appreciate how the networking code guys are doing a great job, and I understand networking, but I don't want to talk about my job while I'm.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
I like when Brian Chambers talks. I'd listen to Brian Chambers forever.
I mean, well, I actually don't remember him or his voice, but his magical golden hair had me enchanted, and
It's like a lion, isn't he?
I know, it's like. I just want to pen
What
it.
was it like? Two of its like 30 question slots were like, my hair is just magic. Keep on
Now,
going.
Brian Chambers, if you are listening to this,
You
because
are amazing.
I am seeing you on Saturday. So this is all 10. I don't love your hair. I'm not going to stroke it. And I'm drunk. Just Brian, you got lovely hair.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Um, BritizenCon is
Yes.
coming up. Oh my god, I'm so envious. I wish I could be there, man. I had such a good time
Did you
when I was
play-
in Manchester last time. I just
I was very drunk. Even when I was interviewing you, I was quite drunk. I was so happy that you wanted to talk to me because I could just hold the camera and just drink my pint.
dude, that
It was
you
really
were with
nice.
Some good points.
Uh,
It's good times. Good times.
hopefully, BritainCon will be good. That's the. I'm helping Chris and John run it, who are two of the guys from Southampton's.
Very nice.
So where I live, like StarCitizen meetup group.
Right.
And they went, let's do a big StarCitizen meetup thing, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. Let's do it.
Well, when if you have any hiccups or any good advice, I would very much like to run or get some invested guys here, because we have some people here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that are heavily invested. I mean, Logante lives out here. There's a bunch of citizens here in the DFW area, which is Dallas-Fort Worth. It's a little metroplex of kind of like and then Austin is like 3 hours southeast, right? And so I think that if we did something here, we would be able to pull some devs up maybe for a short, day trip to come visit for that, and get something big together. It's just, I was in Japan. I was overseas during the period of time when CIG first kicked things off, and I come from Texas, and I used to live in Austin, and so they're having all these amazing, like, small, down-to-earth, hanging out with the fan events during the first couple of years, and I was missing all of that, and I was like, ah! So like, I swore when I came back, I would like try to be a big part of like putting together live community stuff where we would, dress in cosplay of, Star Citizen stuff and roll out and, have meetups or, try to, I don't know, it would just, try to connect with the community, and establish those friendships that go beyond just, another character name, in my targeting record.
Yeah.
But
So, what do you think the Tavaran look like? Tavaran? What do you think they look like? Any guy?
Egyptians.
I think so.
Huh?
Ooh.
Yeah, I think they look like Egyptian. I think their architecture and their ships will be the Egyptian types. They've kind of hinted that that's what they were thinking originally. I doubt they go too far against that, because I assume they already had some form of concept work and style guide they've already worked on, so they'd have to completely redo that. I don't think they will. So I think it will be Egyptian-like, and I think the race will be slightly avian in nature.
I was thinking Anubis when you said that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or cats. They do have their love affair with cats too.
Yeah, Anubis. What's the bird people?
I don't necessarily
can't
they have
remember.
feathers or anything, but I think they'll be avian-esque. Well, I guess.
Well,
Have,
Yeah.
Has anyone in the stream, or have you guys ever seen a movie called The Immortal? It's totally like kind of a B movie, and it was foreign. I don't know. I think it was French, but dubbed in English, and it's about like the Egyptian gods return to a future Earth, like a near future Earth where people have designer organs. And they're like, look at my new spleen. It's super special. And
Is this the 1970s movie, The Immortal?
I don't think so. It was CGI. All the characters were overlaid with a CGI overlay. Are you looking at it?
I'm looking at the 1970s movie, The Immortal, which is not what you're talking about.
Okay.
okay.
Well, anyway, so this it's kind of crazy, but yeah. So the Anubis and some other deities show back up, and in order for Anubis to stay immortal himself, he has to procreate with a human. But all the humans have these designer organs, so he's no longer compatible with humans. And so every time he tries to possess one, it just explodes.
Oh, that's nice.
So you've got this detective going around trying to figure out what this like serial killer is all about. And,
I was hoping that you were.
crazy.
Sounds like a comedy movie from your point of view.
No, it was
Like,
interesting.
hey, baby, you want to hook up? Boom.
It's got really good music. and the story is really interesting. Um, but just crazy aliens like Star Citizen is kind of straight laced when it comes to its sci-fi mythology. So the idea of them incorporating any kind of like Egyptian-like kind of motif, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm kind of curious. Who knows?
Well, they said the whole game was based off of Roman society, so it makes sense the Egyptians, the Romans.
Culturally and
Well,
event-wise.
didn't the Romans conquer Egypt though? So that would make sense in that.
Maybe.
I mean, we conquered the Tavaran as a race, so Rome conquered Egypt,
that
so
doesn't
it's
necessarily imply that they'll look like an Egyptian.
Well, they might have a lot of the same qualities, though.
I think you can draw similarities against any large empire and the Roman Empire, with barbarians at the gates, which are the Vandal,
right.
and that sort of stuff, and then conquering and the crumbling of an empire and all that sort of jazz. Although that the Roman kind of it seems quite strong, the Roman influence, admittedly.
Right, the empire, the United Empire of Earth. What do you think about all of our alien races that we interact with so far all being bipedal? Like we have no truly alien races yet.
I think that's sensible, actually, because doing something that's too alien is really hard to do. So I really like the way the Vandal ships work, for example, because they're just alien enough. They've got low gravity, and Vandal physiology for them is for them to jump around their ships. They literally jump really high. I think that was the idea. So I like that because that means they probably don't have stairs or ladders because they don't need them.
Well, yeah, and I look at it from the prospect that you don't have to rebuild a new skeletal structure because you have a thing with 6 legs or whatever. You don't have to go and try to animate that. That's going to be a whole nother thing. So the reason why they're bipedal probably is to keep it really easy in the intro. Yeah, they might add something later on that might be crazy, but
they'll literally be animals. It's just I don't think they'll be a race.
What's that? Oh, animals? Oh, they'll be.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to have a crazy race. Not for ages. We're not going to see squid people. We're not going to see centaurs running around in ships because that's going to be weird.
No, but it's alien. It's such an overplayed scientific or science fiction trope to have every race you encounter is quasi-human. You know what I mean? Like it's very human centric. It's like we can only imagine other races as being other versions of us. Like we're very much it's very arrogant.
Looking at the Earth flora and fauna, I mean, I don't have a problem imagining that. I could see a race of entirely intelligent snakes that have their own starships because every single thing. Yeah, I mean, who's to say that one species didn't just win above the others given the right conditions? So it's really, I understand what you're wanting. You're wanting the diversity of a non-bipedal organism. At the same time, though, I understand reasons why, because, they'd have to remake the movement structures. They'd have to rethink, okay, how does this floating octopus being hop into the ship? And, what would you do with having 7 different flight sticks right in front of you?
There was a game I was following on Kickstarter, and I can't remember what Eternus Novus Eterna or something, which is a big space strategy game. Okay. I think it's still being made. So they've got all these different races, and some of them are quite alien. And one of the races that's is these giant Godzilla race of aliens who are all super giant, like 3 mile tall dinosaur things, which are super advanced technology-wise, and they just go around blowing everything up and eating everything. But they have their society's incredibly predatorial, and they just fight each other constantly.
So they're used to fighting, and so they've learned how to fight.
But they just fight each other constantly anyway. So that's why they're not just going to wipe out the universe because they're just constantly infighting. But they were like so alien to everyone else because they were just this, and they keep on evolving. They always look fucking different. They're always this big giant dinosaur things that just keep on changing.
Next time on Station42, Monster Zero.
Well, I thought that was a great concept for aliens. Just go, well, they're just big. They're big and they keep on changing.
It's like the mothership is the alien.
It's just
No,
I
they
know
walk
early
on. They
on,
walk around big ships.
just giant ships. They're like
Really
planet
big
sized.
ships. Yeah.
That's why they're in
Big ships.
space because they can't deal with gravity. But you know,
Maybe.
I remember asking devs about it, and the answer I'd always gotten was, well, you know, we want players to be able to incapacitate and capture alien ships and then take them back and retrofit them. But the thing is like, well, the cockpit of an alien ship. Yeah, I mean, what if the Banu were a completely aqua oriented race, so their ship was just filled with water? So when a human gets it, we drain the water, we keep all the alien architecture inside because we don't want to mess with their tech, and then you just you adapt a human cockpit into the center. I mean, like, you don't actually have to try to make the human sit in the aliens thing, or you just assume that once it's been modularly changed over, then it would be flyable.
Could you imagine trying to fly around in a native Vandal craft with the inverted knees and all that? Like they're
God, yeah.
8 feet tall, and
That's why you got to have you have to have
Yeah.
a new line of ships called the Tug, like related to the salvage ship. It tows you in.
Contortionists would be able to pilot Vandal ships.
Yeah,
Little
naturally.
Chinese acrobatics girls.
Yeah.
That,
No, I'm thinking of the reference from Indiana Jones where the kid puts the wood block on his foot to push the gas pedal. No, I'm talking about like the little I can't remember
No
the damn
time for love,
guy.
Little
Dr.
tiny
Jones.
Little tiny
Yeah, really.
stilts. Done.
Yeah.
So with all these fancy new features that we've all talked about and we've all read in the show notes of the monthly report and all, like, what do you what's got your imagination the most right now?
So, well, I mean, obviously I'm waiting for 2.5, and Grimhex is what I'm desperately after. I always like the near
But
future when it comes to.
What about Grimhex? I mean,
Well, I desperately need more gameplay. I mean, that's what I'm after, and I want to see the way they're going to implement player versus player and general getting players to interact with each other. Because we've got this PU, and we need reasons for people to interact with each other. Because a lot of the stuff that people do is kind of single player in it, or they'll co-op with like one other mate.
Right.
That's great. But I want reasons to fly around the verse.
Yes.
I want reasons to do missions, and I want that chance of meeting another player there that isn't either just going to go, I'm going to try and kill you, then run off, or just run off immediately. There needs to be reasons for us to interact with each other, to talk, to possibly cooperate, to possibly have a conflict. All of that needs to be possibilities. Then we get emergent gameplay, then we have more gameplay, and yeah, I'm just... Grimhex represents...
what do you think Grimhex has in store for that? Because I mean, that's one of my concerns too. Is like, okay, so you're going to split up the weapons and say that all hard ammo weapons are at Grimhex and all laser weapons are at Port Olisar. You're going to say that pirate or outlaw clothing is going to be here, and preppy ball cap endorse style is going to be over here. That's still not enough to get people to fly between. Like, do you think? Or that's a start. But do you think that there will be? What else do you think they've got in mind for that?
They could have hundreds of different types of mission. They could be where you need to go to Grimhex, do something in Grimhex.
Missions probably we won't see a major mission overhaul until we see subsumption, right? So,
I don't know. We could see some pretty simple missions,
Sure.
which are just scripted, which are go here, go
Hey
here. Go
man,
here.
I need my drugs here at Grimhex. Please go get them for me.
I mean, some people have thought that we're going to have that racing track
yes.
with the release of Grimhex, because there's a racing tunnel underneath, and there was talking about, will Grimhex have that racing kind of scheme
I hope so.
as it goes live?
Disappointed that we didn't have some kind of racing in the verse. Like, you always had to go out and use the electronic access to get your racing in. So I forget about it because I just I basically fly in the verse almost exclusively, and and then I'm like, oh man, I haven't raced in like almost a year now. I need to race. And anyway,
If there's a weapons-free race in verse, I'm up for racing.
oh god,
I mean,
no, that's gonna be
yeah.
crazy.
We're flying around
Yeah.
yellow shooting each other. I think that would be an absolute great laugh.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much chaos and havoc an Avenger Warlock might be able to do in the middle of a...
Well, indeed, yes. I mean, that'd be hilarious.
They
You
just
just
fire off the
dodging
computer
around
right
asteroids. Yeah, smash into people.
Yeah,
But I think we might see bounty hunter stuff. I think we might see. I think that there is going to be only a tiny little area in Grim Hex that will be armistice zone.
Yeah.
And it'll pretty much be the ship pads. It'll be ship pads are safe. Everything else is free game.
Right.
And I think that we might see contracts to kill people to bring them to justice.
Right.
So that would be a great reason for people to go from Port Olisar to Grim Hex.
Mm-hmm.
Go there, shoot them, or you go there and you have to subdue them, or something like that.
I'm hoping that there's contracts just to shoot people in general, just because like this guy is like ousting your business and he's doing a lot better of a job than you, and you want to actually get a little bit of an edge on the competition. So you go to Grimhex to hire like some sort of piracy guy who just doesn't give a shit and says, "Hey, if you go kill this guy who's completely legal and hasn't done anything wrong to you, you'll get a boatload of money."
Well, I mean, there definitely needs to be gameplay for both elements, both the lawful and the outlaw.
Yes.
You know, I mean, in long term, there needs to be a lot more factions than just outlaw and lawful. But you know,
there will be.
Well, as soon as there's contracts, as soon as there's the service beacons, the literally there is no factions, because people can the lines between them's fully blurred, because you can do what they want. So you don't need your faction is literally whatever you declare it is.
Right.
At that point.
And you know, and there needs to be that's on the player side, but I mean even within and I believe they are setting it up this way, but even within the NPC side of things, it's not as simple as you're UEE or you're an outlaw. You could have two people in the UEE and they're on two planets that have economic interests that are counter to each other, therefore they're enemies, and you know they're secretly waging war against each other, while you know the UEE is unable to force them to stop. You know, you could have war crimes going on, and we as a player can either not just align ourselves with player factions, but we can also involve ourselves with these missions. And so if we do missions for this planet, this other planet's no longer going to be friendly with us, or so on and so forth, at a very simple level. But you know, that kind of goes back to older MMO style games like EverQuest, Ultima Online. They had a lot of play, Star Wars Galaxies, things like that. So
that's where the mercenary play that I'm interested in actually comes in a lot, though, is having those two factions vie for control against a certain area or a certain thing. You go and you hire the mercs to go in and clean it out so that you keep a nice, squeaky clean business reputation while you hire the other guy to go and get dirty.
Sure.
I love that kind of gameplay.
Well, I think Board's right though. Like a huge part of what's coming up is going to be dependent on the first and continuing iterations of the service beacon or the Moby Glass Uber, where you can basically sign up missions and oh my god, I can't wait for that. That is just going to be amazing. I do wonder. Like, I mean, I wonder. I know they talked about cargo being something we're going to see in the near future and be one of the first next, I guess, gameplay mechanics that we'll see go in. And I gotta say, I'm excited because cargo is going to need more than just how you move objects in and out of your ship and how you make money, but it's going to require currency. It's going to require the ability to, basically it's the ground floor of the economics, you know. So, and economics will drive warfare. It'll drive, missions and support missions and all the kind of stuff like we were talking about the man, I just
So,
I was changing.
Tell me a little bit. What?
Lost my train of thought.
See what happens when you try to change over videos while you're thinking. I was actually curious. What kind of style of FPS are you interested in, Board? Are you run and gun? Do you try to avoid FPS, or are you maybe a sniper, shotgunner? What is your game style?
I've moved around in a lot of the games I've played based on what's kind of necessary for my team. So more lately in FPS, I've been playing more tanky classes and frontline classes. So crowd control kind of stuff, where I just try and go, look at me, I'm over here, woo! And then anyone that stops paying attention to you, you kill them. So I don't know, it changes. I like stealth, I like speed. I've been a sniper before, but I'm too old to snipe now. I mean, literally, I used to have a Twitch response when I was about 20. I'm 31 now. My Twitch response is gone, but my ability to discern what to do in a situation is pretty good. But I lack that snap shoot skill.
That is just a mouse adjustment away, my friend.
Well, it's not. It's not the same. It's not the same like it used to be.
Okay.
But I mean, I'll probably be FPS wise. I'll probably be medium armor. I'll be as versatile as I can, and then try and judge from any given situation what I need to do. That's kind of what I do. I like to try and fit into what I'm needed to do.
Sure, that's good. It's good to be a team player. I think that's super important. Do you
need your team, don't you? Need your team.
Yeah. Are you flying regular with people in the verse? Like, I mean, is that a benefit of being a well-known streamer? Do you always have people that are willing to jump on with you, or?
I mean, I do. They're all idiots. I mean, like even Twerk and Saurus are bloody idiots as well. They want to do stupid stuff. I jump in. Oh, let's go flying. Oh, we're playing. We're playing Simon Says. Great, cool. Let's go. Oh, we're having a fashion show in Kasaba. Great.
Wow.
Go team.
Yeah.
So I don't do as much flying as I used to. Do you think that as soon as Item System 2.0 has fully refactored all the systems and components, I'll be doing a lot more, because then's the time that I want to learn the mechanics better. I want to understand how the weapons work, I want to understand how the systems work, and I want to understand how the ships are actually competitive towards each other.
Right.
I understand a while back they actually released some concept art of grenades, different types, and I also understand one of these upcoming. Yeah, you gotta have grenades, right?
Grenades.
I also understand. I mean, whatever. Chunk it, Charlie. The point of it is that I understand there's a bearing grenade. I believe I've heard that was coming up. Do you any idea what it is? Is it just a standard frag, or?
The Germans were working on it. It was in the monthly report, and I can't remember. I can't remember. Sorry. Frankfurt.
Sure
the
Germans.
The best people to make the best people to work on the grenades. I'm sorry,
They were doing the smart ammo as well, and a new bearing submachine gun. I can't remember what the grenade was called though. Grenade had a little title before it. I can't remember what it was. That might imply what it was, but some form of bearing grenade.
Right.
But I'm really excited about the little other gadgets, like the little force fields and the hologram, the Joker stuff. Yeah, I think that's going to be quite cool, because we have seen a little tiny bit of that when Eren was being shot at by his teammates. He was trying to show off some of those things, and the dev team were killing him too much. Chris is getting annoyed because he's like, "No, Eren, who's a heavy? Eren's dead again." Just constantly on the stream. So we got to see them very briefly. I can't remember where that footage is now, but I think it was. I think that might have been Gamescom 2015.
That was a Gamescom right there, I believe. No, I was just curious about the grenades. It's something that I've been actually excited about, to be honest, is to actually have those gadgets, grenades, and kind of things floating around inside, because it adds another element to it.
I'm
a zero-G grenade.
When we start seeing armor mechanics for both ships and players, because like right now it's all cosmetic. But more toys will be nice. I think
bearing Proline grenade. That's what it was referred to.
Proline.
Tells us nothing.
Proline.
I want to chuck grenades at spaceships that are following me. Because you're going to be on the Dragonfly riding around, chucking grenades off the back.
Well, and that's the thing. Since it's zero-G, you could just chuck a grenade and it would just go in indefinitely. It would just be like a contact grenade. You could just line them up and do drive-by grenading instead of a shooting. I could see that.
I could see that as well.
The thing I want most I'm looking forward for the mantling and cover system. I think that'll be cool. But
vaulting and mantling. I
really want to be able to lean out and look around a corner and lean back.
I'm not sure why we don't have that, because we've got the animations for it. We've got the animation where the moves.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we don't have the lean.
I'm sure we don't.
Maybe Star Marine's closer than we think, and they're saving it for that.
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe it's there. It's in the dev stream.
I hope so.
I know.
Oh yeah.
I think the FPS game modes, like capture the flag and all the stuff that they'll have in actual Star Marine, will be great because if it's smaller teams and you don't have like the desync issue and the persistent universe like we have now, while they're redoing the back end code for like 2.7, if we end up getting Star Marine in 2.5 or 2.6 or something, then that'll be great for keeping the slavering masses at bay for just a little while longer.
The drooling zombies of Star Citizen.
That's right.
Where's my Banu merchantman? Grrr.
Oh, I watched that episode. That was good.
Oh man.
I asked that question so much.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Well, it's like
I mean,
it was
so
with the Carrick for the longest time, and then now they finally have an answer on the Carrick, so you got to have something to.
I was wondering.
I don't want
I'll
the
think
Banu
about that.
Merchantmen to be worked on until they've done all the other systems, because it's got too many. It's a very unique ship. It does, and it's supposed to be different. It can't just be a cargo ship that you walk around and you can carry cargo. That doesn't make it a merchant.
That was basically a flying vending machine, basically.
I think that's going to be part of it. I mean, it'll be interesting if like it's one of the only ships that you can like land on a planet, open up your doors, and sell to like say Firefly.
Oh yeah,
when you're out
Bazaar.
on the outer planets, you got to be able to land and trade.
I was genuinely worried that they were going to do a similar thing with the Banu that they did with the Cutlass, which is they overpromise and it goes slightly too diverse and there's slightly too many directions they wanted to go in. But I
can see that because they talked about how much it's supposed to be able to carry cargo wise. And its size, and then you have people who are like, "Oh, it's going to be a fast blockade runner." I'm like, "Baby, it's not going to run blockades."
That was.
Like, you're thinking it might be fast for its size, and it might have the kind of weapons that would let it push through some kinds of blockades.
The blockade runner.
Falcon.
It was in the description though originally, and that's where they got that from. Was that it was saying in the official RSI text that it was a blockade runner. That it could actually fill that capacity. So I'm hoping that it has some of that ability. I don't mind it being toned down a little bit, but I would like to have a blockade runner of a sort. And I think that since that's a specialized ship in a trading race, that would be the most applicable use of it. That's just. I was interested in it from that.
What does blockade runner mean to you? Like, let's all talk about what does that mean?
It needs to be relatively fast, but it will need to have strong shields and powerful front guns.
Boom.
So
yes.
But they don't need to be anything more than literally firing forward.
Yes.
Clear a hole. But the Banu, the merchantman, also needs to have some form of anti-fighter and anti-boarding because the ship is built to counter pirates, basically, because it is a trade ship. Right. And the Banu race doesn't have a standing military. The merchantman ships need to be able to go to war if necessary. They are Spanish galleons. Yeah. They are.
Wouldn't call them a Spanish galleon. I was thinking more of like a small. No, like a small schooner is what I was thinking. Something light, something fast, something that moves, something that goes really, really quick.
Though.
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing, isn't it? We don't know relative to their size and performance and stuff. We don't know if they're going to be small and fast, relatively, or big and Spanish galleon-y. They could be either. We don't know.
I think if history has taught us anything, I think we do know, and it's like you said in your
it's the Viking rowboat.
It's going to get bigger because it's just like
the UK are doing it. It's bigger.
It's like they had to change the Hornet size because of the size of the person, and then the Hornet size is what changed the size of the Idris, and
but not that much. That Idris increased massively.
But at the same time, it's because its function had to fit, and being able to launch 2 ships, that's not enough. Hell, even now, I feel like 3 or what is it, 4 now maybe, is still questionable, as far as like why anyways, they're gonna have to make.
I haven't even seen a Hornet on the Idris yet. I've only seen Gladius.
That's true.
So I don't even see why the size of the Hornet mattered. Yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean. I think they did change it because of the size of the Hornet. So
and so I think that every single bigger ship basically exponential, like instead of it being like a narrow column. It got to become all the ships above a certain point are widening out in overall size because it's just necessary to have all of the different things you would need on a vessel that has crew on it for any duration. They're all becoming miniature, FPS levels.
While we're on the topic of carriers, one of the things that I was noticing, I keep going back to the Bengal video and just like drooling and being in love with the entire concept. Every single time I watch the video, though, there's one thing that irks the hell out of me. It's the damn retaliator coming up from the elevator. It is just sitting there like doing a George Jetson floating above the.
Whatever. Of all the things to worry about.
I just
maybe it's on grav plates. It doesn't need landing gear.
There you go.
Grav plating.
If we're all gonna be little bitches,
Miss technology.
If we're all gonna be little bitches, for me it's the pop in when it's streaming along the top and you're looking down at the top.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden the guns pop in.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
They're working technical wizardry and technical miracles over there, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. It's alpha.
Do you remember when we were watching the CitizenCon, the Idris Moritor, and the Argo just landed and his hair popped in? It's really weird.
I know,
weird.
I heard you,
damn.
You're like a couple doors down from me, and you're like, oh, I really like this guy, and then the hair popped in. You're like, I hate him. Get out of here. Put a hat on him. He's indoor. What a dick.
It was weird as hell. That was such a weird bug.
I know.
Yes.
Well, I think that's why.
Did you know Rogaine works instantly in those days? Bam.
I think that's why they didn't really showcase the Moreau tour super, like, it's not spread everywhere. I mean, we saw it because they had said that was a very early, like, there were a lot of graphical issues, like, just
I mean,
so I think
through the box.
They didn't want that. Yeah, they didn't want that to be the front page news for anybody but the kind of experienced backers that know this alpha. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, they were supposed to do a cleaned up version of the Moreau tour for press release one,
right?
Pretty much straight after CitizenCon. But they never did, which I thought was a shame. I do think, however, they've changed that intro significantly.
Oh, I'm sure.
So it's probably why.
I doubt that intro was actually what Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was just one of the things about that intro. I remember that he walked straight through the box. Morrow is talking to the dude who's walking by him, and the guy's got a crate of some sort of parts or something, and he just glitches into the box and then the guy glitches
through the wall as he goes through.
And then he smacks through the wall and
gets spooky ghost.
I'm like, wow, okay, he's got some talent. Some Matrix stuff going on there.
Oh man,
that's something I would like to see. Ship AI. I would like to actually have my Cutlass bitch at me. I want to have a bitching Betty Cutlass.
You can't you? That's what the HCS voice packs are for.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you can't in lore. We're not going to have AIs on our ships because of the what was it I have the flare for it in my hangar. It was the original one of the first missions. There was even a really really well done short story in the early that talked about the artificial intelligence and the Zulu. No,
they got Zeus.
The Zeus. That's right, the Zulu. I was thinking of Z-Man because he was on our show last week.
Yeah, but what about the Zeus? I mean, I don't know that story too well. I haven't actually looked at that one. I mean, I know the Zeus was the first ship, but what does it have to do with AI?
Because it was launched with an AI, and then it was like one of the humanity's first AIs, and then magically that whole thing was a giant failure. So humanity has steered clear of AI altogether. That's why we've got human pilots and things of that nature, I suppose. I mean, I don't know. It's basically a cautionary tale.
Sorry, I did.
Basically, that's how the board was made.
I've done a video on that, and I can't remember it. It's driving me mad.
We do what we can, sir. We do what we can.
remember the name of
Yeah.
the AI.
Oh my
Wasn't
gosh! I know.
It wasn't Betty.
No, no, it was not. It was not Betty. So I got a question for you. So, Bored.
Yeah.
You're talking about how like the time that you spend in the verse right now is pretty chaotic with the Twerk 17 and WTF, just messing around like so. Like, have you found that doing the show that like going from being an independent producer to being a part of like a more collective like the redacted community and playing has changed like who you play with? Do you like do you
No, not really. I would have played with them anyway or whatever.
right right
I was before I joined Redacted. I was just trying to get as friendly with content creators as much as I could. And the only reason I joined Redacted is because I saw that Twerk and Saurus were effectively underusing their community brand to connect to more people. So I was like, let's talk to people.
yes.
So we've got lots more
No,
community
that's
creators together.
yeah, yeah. No, I was
So
just curious. I didn't know like if you had already been a part of an org or if you built your because you'd mentioned a little bit about like the org that you were making as far as like a role play with the guys that you play with. I just wasn't sure if like migrating into that if your gaming community also followed because like WTF he has his own org right like Overdrive and then
Overdrive. Yes, that's
yeah
the one. That's
yeah
what I was thinking.
and I because I used to have a member in our Facebook group that was a part of that org and I remember him singing the praises for that, and that was when I first like looked him up and watched his stuff and whatnot. And then, but
Janus. That's the name of the AI.
Yes, it is.
And it's not the Zeus. It's not the Zeus. The Zeus didn't have an AI. It was the
like
it's Captain
ship,
Dan,
right?
Captain Danvers, and it's the Artemis.
Artemis, that's right. Oh, good call. Thank you.
Sorry, it's driving me mental. More mental. Mm.
Damn. Oh boy.
Yeah. No, but because it's interesting just because like for instance our community like we're trying to build ourselves up and represent the Ready Player One community or whatever the our Facebook group and then expand that out to the organizations that have come on as sponsored organizations and trying to connect people because that was my big thing is I wanted to see
I think you've done that pretty well on the Facebook group, to be honest.
Yeah, I've tried a lot of different things. I've done the mind maps, and I've done, part of this show, not directly to promote the Facebook group because I get no benefit out of it. It's not like it's monetized or anything like that. But I feel like this is a way for us to interview and talk about content and give people a venue to just. I don't know, just to be in love with the game, and also to give them a place to come on and talk about it, where they may or may not be getting their voice heard in elsewhere. We're like a surrogate. We're a surrogate Star Citizen buddy to the community.
So for me at the moment, getting more content providers and people that are interested in doing it at this stage is really important. There are no giant YouTubers, there are no giant streamers really that have jumped on the Star Citizen bandwagon because at the moment there's no money in it for them. Right. So I don't want content providers that are in it just for the money to come along and shit on my game or to do stuff that they want to do just because of the money.
Right.
And not all big content creators are like that. That's true, but a majority of them will be. Because they do it for a living and whatever.
That's a naturally corrupting stance. It's like politics. As soon as you're writing laws and you're getting paid, then you're going to get paid more if you write laws that favor.
I'd like to think that I'm not a dick, and I do YouTube as full time, and I try and do just Star Citizen or mostly Star Citizen. But I want, if people are thinking about getting into YouTube, they're thinking about getting into streaming, Star Citizen is a great choice if you're just starting because there's low barriers to entry from the form of competition. Everyone's pretty friendly. Your competition will probably help you. Right. And you're going to be in such a great place for when the game gets big. You're investing in
a future.
Getting some knowledge into a game. So obviously you have to enjoy Star Citizen and want to play Star Citizen. Otherwise, choose a different game like Pokemon. That's quite big at the moment. So you have to like and enjoy.
Nintendo just like outstrip like a whole bunch of major.
So their share price increased to over 80% so far, which isn't unprecedented.
Yeah.
So this is the sort of thing that annoys me. I should have done, thinking from a business point of view, just a couple of videos on Pokemon, even if I did them on a separate channel. I had the ability, I had the knowledge, because I've been playing like a bloody boss. I'm level 25 in 3 days, or 4 days. Or whatever it is. I'm a grinding king. I really, really, I quite enjoy grinding, actually. That's why I want to do mining in Star Citizen. But it's just, I don't have the heart for it. I mean, I wouldn't be enthusiastic about it. I'd be like, I'm trying to get Pokemon because I like numbers. In Star Citizen, for me, is more. There's a lot more heart and enthusiasm there, because I don't know. I've got peers. I've got viewers that enjoy what I do.
It's a good community.
I've got loads of content.
Really
It is.
Even with the haters, it's such a, I don't know. It's amazing.
Every community has haters.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Our level of haters, other than the slightly... the only thing about our haters is that they seem to have formed a small group collectively together, an organised group of idiocy. And that's fine. I mean, and I say idiocy. I mean, they are totally...
Idiocracy.
That's a great film. They totally... they're totally entitled to their own opinions, and I mean, I don't engage people that I have totally differing opinions from, other than say, well, we differ. I respect your opinion, even if it's totally different from mine. But they're not actually that bad. That's the thing. Yeah. Our haters aren't bad. And that's a nice thing. We have such a lovely community, and yeah.
Most of the time, all we ever really have to deal with is, why isn't my game out? I demand a refund, and they just kind of get shut up and like shuffled off into file 13 anyway. I mean, that's just it's the nature of this game.
Who expected refunds when you put money in to anything?
No one with any
do you put that in
sense.
Expecting a refund? Like I would say, anything on Kickstarter, any form of video game. I mean,
if you wanted a refund, you should have bought it at a retail store. That's my opinion.
Well, I mean. So I would never be entitled to a refund for Star Citizen, because I've played over 3,000 hours of it. I've definitely got my money's worth. So I understand for some people that they're going for a refund because they've never played it and they feel the game's changed too much. Yeah. I don't think that's a necessary. I don't think that's. That's not a reason to have a refund either. I mean, you have to play the game.
When the game is finally launched, then at that point, if you have a leg to stand on, then maybe. But at that point, you'd have to stop buying between now and then, because the only thing that would qualify was that original purchase. That still, because of course the terms of service are going to change as the game changes. People are, I don't know. People are, whatever.
I don't know. It's just, I just think people have possibly a misconception or differing idea on what they think they should be getting. Or entitled to. I mean, and I suppose that's fine. It's just, I don't know. I'm quite chill out about stuff like that. I'm pretty chilled.
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Just relax.
I mean, I gotta say, speaking back to the what you were talking about like supporting the community and just wanting to see people, get on this early. It meant a lot to us. I know. I mean, Vadron and myself, and Godric, and and the rest of our crew, when we first started off, we were shaky, and I mean, even as I was first being interviewed and coming on board with this crew for this endeavor that we've done with Station42, I had met you in person, and you had taken the time to showcase my story and what I was doing. It was
I was very drunk.
I don't care. It was so great, and you made me a rock star for doing something that was for the community, and that was fantastic. And then on top of that,
it's quite ironic that you say that, because your Facebook, and I don't want to start a weird circle jerk, but your Facebook group helped Springboard. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
You got
Springboard my channel. I mean, it's that was really helpful. The fact that lots of people giving me feedback, the fact that people seem to enjoy me posting on there, and that was a already set up community for me to be able to literally jump on board with that was friendly. Yeah. So I mean, that helped me out so much.
I'm glad. I'm glad that it's been reciprocal, because your encouragement or your positive words during those first couple of episodes where it was just untenable
Yeah, shit.
material.
Stop doing it.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
It wasn't really that. Okay, so I was having fun.
Except it
So
was.
I really was
Well, everybody's
enjoying myself.
their own worst critic, you know. So
I wasn't. I'm never going to meet the people on the internet that I'm talking to. So I
You
mean,
say that, but that's not true.
aside from you guys, I say that from maybe with the exception of you guys, but I won't ever actually meet the people that are listening. Sometimes I don't expect that, and so it's really easy for me to make a mess up or make a chainsaw or a random dog or baby in the background or any of that. It doesn't really bother me that much. I like it. I like the mistakes because if I'm making mistakes, I'm steadily learning from them.
Well, I mean, I agree. I agree on a logical level that that's true. We definitely continue to get better in every mistake we did, but we got so much better because we made so many mistakes.
People like the realness of it, though. They like the mistakes as long as they're not like getting in the way of the content. Right. As long as you're like, look, I made a mistake, lol. People love that. People like got like little in jokes with that. Yeah. It's so yeah. That's why people like streaming. They want to see those mistakes. They relate to you as a person.
I took that away as one of our very first episodes before Traz ever showed up. I realized that some people are very like they've got to do it perfectly, and I was like, that's not really. You kind of lose the human element if you're walking through a hallway or something and you trip and you spill coffee all over you. That you can show what kind of person they are from that moment. Like if they're mad about it, then they're just kind of a jerk. If they're laughing at it, then they're probably a really good person. And so every time I make a mistake, I'm like, well, I should probably laugh at this because, this is an opportunity for me to figure it out and get better.
Well, that's a very good way of thinking about it. Good man.
I try.
Yeah, for sure.
I get very ragey when I play computer games. People don't realise when I play team games and I get relatively good at them because I grind until I'm relatively good. Yeah. I have such rage when
you want people to be up to your level.
No, it's not that. No. So occasionally you'll have a bad teammate if you're doing like Overwatch, for example. Play Overwatch and competitive. If you're playing a 5 and you have one extra person that's a random, because you're not on comms with them or because you're not communicating with them properly, you're not doing exactly what you want. Sometimes that can be stressful. I verbalize that in the "what the fuck" kind of quite angry. Now, people don't see that in any of my videos because I can edit that out, and Star Citizen doesn't stress me out so much because at the moment I'm not that good at it, and it wouldn't matter if I was anyway. So I only get really stressed at a game if I start to get okay at it.
Because then you're holding yourself up to a standard and you're trying to you don't want to go backwards. So
that's what I figured though. Was that you at least like why haven't you? I've put in this much time and commitment. Why haven't you? That's what I was getting at.
It's just some people seem to lack the very basic understandings of how a game works. Like I don't understand people playing competitive. They like a certain mode and they look at their rank and you go, well, you must understand how to use your hands. You must have basic motor functions and how to use your mouse. Are you playing this first-person shooter on a joystick? Is this the issue?
Like you can breathe, right? Like you. Oh man.
I don't know.
Let me face roll my keyboard and see.
You'll see people that are literally potato standard. They are absolute idiots. And you're thinking, how? Why are you playing in this mode when you're not doing the basic objective? You're not obviously not trying to win. So why are you here? And it just annoys. It gets me really angry.
That does bring up another thing.
My next YouTube video is going to be how to troll BoredGamer.
Well,
it'd be an episode on how to
take the very soul of what they're doing.
We should do a collaborative video where we like do it from we get recordings of you playing and like the random shit that happens where you're like, what are you doing?
It'll be so. For example, It's relatively hard to troll me in that regard in gameplay.
Sure.
Because I will laugh at you for being an idiot.
Right.
So that would make me happy.
But then when they're a teammate and they do it, wholly different story.
Well, so for example, yeah. So say we're in a fleet battle together, and it's really close, and we're just about to take an Idris or something, and you accidentally detonate your ship, killing another one of our teammates. Because you go, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I would be quite angry if we then lost. I would be pretty angry. Like,
whoops!
More dots, throw more dots.
All right, let's go.
I'm sorry. Alt and backspace seem to be in different areas of my keyboard. Have you somehow got some sort of Russian keyboard where they've merged together? I would get quite irate. I get quite elaborate in my insults, and then you can tell I'm angry.
Oh, that's fantastic! I love elaborate insults. That's great.
Oh man, that's good.
I feel your pains. I was a raid leader for years in a top tier PvP on a team PvP server back in EQ1, back when it was it was the hot shit, and
that's stressful. That's stressful.
It was. We didn't have voice comms then, so everything was by text chat. People.
I see you.
Oh yeah, people joke about how fast I type. It's because of that game. That game taught me how to type. Like in middle school, I learned how to type properly. Where you don't look at the keyboard and you use the correct hand stance. And I failed the class because I didn't really try. And then here I am, 19 or something, playing EverQuest 1. And, you're typing and you're looking at the keyboard and you're looking up, and then you're having to learn to just type and look because you got to play. And then eventually you get into leading raids and you're fucking answering 10 tells and you're talking in multiple channels and you're, the same concept. It was crazy. But
the same concept applies whenever you're sitting there and it's like the vanilla Warcraft, and you're sitting here and there's a bear chasing you, and so you can either keep running or you can type to your buddy really quick. There's a bear, and you get really motivated typer.
I very much realize
have that.
That me being angry in computer games is very much my cross to bear. It's me choosing to be angry. Sure. And when I'm in a good mood, people want to play games with me. When I'm in a bad mood, people want to avoid me.
Yeah.
When I play games. So, I'm getting much better.
$1 million question. Do you have a graveyard of sorts of keyboard and mice?
Oh, no, I don't break stuff. That would be expensive.
Good for you.
Oh,
my father was a breaker. I snuck some friends into his apartment one time when he wasn't home, and they were astounded because there was a literal graveyard of keyboards and mice. I don't know how he did it. It's why he is the reason I don't break things. I don't let my anger control me that way. It was something else, man. He'd put a crack in a monitor. I had to buy my own Sega Genesis with my own money, working a job at 16 because he broke the one I had for my birthday because he just couldn't control his shit, man. And sometimes he will come out.
Welcome to the American household.
No, that's not American. That's just dysfunctional, my friend. But anyways, the thing was but I learned from it. I learned who I was not going to be in that way.
See, that's good. At least that's something positive came out of that. Well, I know that's very, very good of you that you've done that.
Well, he also taught me that too. He taught me to look and make the decision for myself and not just assume that the adult knew what the hell they were doing. So, oddly enough, that was a mixed bag. But I love him for it. I learned a valuable lesson there. But I don't break my own things. I don't, because they're too. I work too damn hard.
I'm very much more of a whiner. When I get extremely stressed, I will whine.
Gotcha. And
I whine very much to everyone on my audio cam.
Wow.
People won't see me if I'm doing it professionally. If I'm in someone's stream or if I'm in from recording something,
sure.
My body just won't let me. I won't whine, and I will be fun.
You'll suck it up and rock it.
Suck it up.
Well, at least you have that sense of professionalism to keep your. You're like, I don't know.
I do catch him every now and then saying, "I'm rambling again," and that's the funny thing. Yeah. He'll neg himself, and then he'll go forward and he'll finish up the video.
My channel was founded on a similar tenet to what Noobifiers was, which was short, snappy content, straight to the point, no fucking around.
Yep.
But I've realised that people enjoy a little bit of my own opinions.
Yeah.
So I'll try and do
Right.
the main meat of the content and then inject a little bit of my opinion in now, because otherwise,
And a little bit of plagiarism.
otherwise, it can be too similar to other people's content because they can just do very similar stuff. So if I put my own opinion in, it's harder to copy. And people are more invested in me as a person.
And
I think it was
especially as a content creator on YouTube. Like you want to be the person. It's not just the delivery. Like sometimes I feel like what we talk about here, it doesn't matter who I am or who he is or even who the guest is necessarily. It's just our viewers want to hear us talk
opinions too.
Opinions definitely. I think a lot of times the most fun is talking about what do you think about this or whatever, because people want to hear either their opinion verified or or hear an opposing opinion so they can grind their teeth about it.
So I've got 3 questions that I've saved up in my head, and I think one of them was a comment, and I'm trying to remember the one. Okay, so the first one was, did you ever actually get the Xeon driver issue fixed for the low-budget gaming rigs?
So what are you talking about? Are you talking about the 480 bug or?
Not the 480. Give me just a second.
I remember that, by the way, and that was some good work you did. Like I still need to track down your docs on that and like start sharing that around the world.
I've done a more recent one.
See, that's the thing. I was watching an older one, and I think that you had reported that the Intel Xeon was not wanting to work with some of the, what was it, the latest graphics cards, and
some of the older motherboards didn't like the RX 480s. Because the RX 480 was trying to draw too much power out of the slot, and the motherboard, because it's a server motherboard, went, nope, you're not doing that. So the card went error. Apparently that's been fixed now, which I can test. I will test at some point, probably tomorrow. But I've gone off the RX 480s because the 1060s are similarly priced, much more overclockable, and significantly more powerful for what I want. I mean, they're more powerful than 980s, the 1060s.
So someday you're gonna move here, and we're gonna buy a house, and we're gonna outfit it with all these rooms that are built like the bridge of a constellation, built like the hangar of the industrial hangar. We're gonna have,
we can follow Star Citizen. Well, no, all we need to do is we need to get that booth from Gamescom.
Yes. Yes.
What are they going to do with it afterwards? They can just like, can we take it? Can we take it? Can we take it home?
I'll volunteer. Fly me out there.
Oh
I know I'm not a super streamer, but.
So, what is your opinion about the?
Why didn't they take YouTubers out there? Come on.
Speaking of opinion.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I was just wanting to go ahead and we were talking about opinions and how everybody's got a different one and how sometimes it can be entertaining. I was wanting to ask you the question: what do you think about the Deltas not being able to trade out their rocket pods? Should they keep that, or is that a thing that you disagree with?
So I think
it's like the Avenger.
I like the idea of there being a strict policy when it comes to pipes, plugs, and hardpoints. So I think that you should be able to switch them out, but what you put there shouldn't necessarily work.
Right. So some things maybe, some things maybe not.
Yes. I mean that's what I want from the piping system and the plug system. I want to be able to do silly stuff and go, hang on, if I do this and this and this, I can get these here.
My thought with that is, back in the old days, they talked about every ship was going to be a platform, and that how the hard points that you attach to the different things would be only limited based on the pipes, but you would be able to build a variety of configurations. Now, the configuration you built may not be the best configuration. Sure, you might be able to put that mining hook on the nose of your 300i and some salvage clause, but the 300i is going to be a sucky platform to do that, but you could do it, assuming that you had the pipes. Then when they started building some of the ships, they changed they changed it over to where you were locked into where basically if you wanted to be the combat one, you had to buy the combat variant, and I didn't like that because I felt like that turns it in that if you want to have a mid-sized ship that's combat, there was only really one choice, and I didn't like that, I don't know. I just it's like they talked about you're not going to be able to do weapons on a say a prospector, or you're not going to be able to do prospecting gear on a Hornet, but
I don't mind that. I don't mind that so much. I think that sometimes it's obvious that certain
Sure.
pipes and plugs wouldn't have the same fittings,
Right.
so you shouldn't be able to mine with a Hornet
But what
unless.
would be cool is if some ships, like say, like a Drake or like a Cutlass, maybe the special thing about that particular ship isn't that it's the best ship in any one category, but maybe it has pipes that lets it switch between a couple of different roles that another
Yeah,
platform may not. And that's mainly all I want to see.
But I also, when I say that I think you should be able to switch out the rocket pods, but not necessarily for anything you want. I also don't mind if they are proprietary. I can't even say the word proprietary.
Proprietary.
Yeah, I get it.
Hulls and stuff. So, for example, the Merlin,
Right.
obviously, it's got that gun there that can't be removed. Well, you can remove it, but nothing else can be placed there because it's a proprietary piece of kit. So, I suppose the Delta kind of fits into that category with the rocket pods because they are an addition. So I don't know.
I was thinking that it was probably going to be like the Avengers' main weapon. Like it just, you could probably fit another type of gun there, but the Tiger Strike is going to be default, and it's going to be hard to find a replacement, similar to the Delta and the rocket pods. I figured that would be just kind of a most of the time locked in. Really, what I'm hoping for is diverse rockets. I'm hoping that they'll make EMP rockets and such. And that brings me to that third question that just jarred my mind. What about a Joker brand disruption pistol? Would that actually be viable and useful in a EVA combat situation? For example, instead of frying your ship's electronics, it's frying your suit's electronics.
Yeah, so if you're thinking about people wearing heavy armor or even Titan suits when they get the big ones, I mean, they're going to be essential. If you could just go stun, shoot them a few times, and the mech just
Then they're
freezes
locked
up.
into they're locked into the suit.
Yeah. Also, I mean, think of it. So if they actually have that cool physics damage properly, that you'll be able to like shoot out like panels on doors. So if you're running from someone, instead of trying to kill anyone, you could just shoot the panels out as you run away. So the doors lock, and it takes them a second to open them again.
Right.
They have to all weld them open
That's
or
a
whatever.
really interesting. That's a good idea. I like that. That's clever.
Or an EMP
Like a little
grenade comes
disruption
towards
pistol.
you, and you shoot the grenade with your Joker pistol to stun it for a second
Right.
or something. I don't know.
I don't know that a pistol should have enough power to juice
No.
Titan suit. Like that might be something a little more
Well,
heavy duty, because
yeah.
they're probably military grade shielded against that kind of attack. But it would be interesting. Maybe if you headshot them, you mess up their HUD for a second. Which
I mean, that would be good enough, wouldn't it? That'd be
Yeah.
cool if you.
It's just kind of black out the screen. And then I like mow down everybody behind them or something. It's just accidental. No, but yeah, I was just thinking like a disruption pistol that would just every now and then, it wouldn't probably do sustaining damage, but it might actually do some really good disruption long enough for you to bounty hunt the person inside of said suit.
See, I see that as a utility pistol. It's like a force push pistol. It does a lot of stuff. You might not necessarily want to shoot people with it, but you can do it like close doors. I love that idea.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, yeah.
Clever. I'm pretty excited about like all the tiny little bit they showed us of them like shooting out lights, shooting alarms starting to sound, cracking
The
glass
EVA.
and
The evac, the Atmo evac.
Those pictures of Grimhex.
Yeah.
Those. I mean, did you see the neon lighting and stuff in Grimhex? I mean,
gorgeous.
that looks
Yes.
amazing. I can imagine shooting those out. I can imagine them flickering. That place looked beautiful. I'm pretty sure someone was saying to me a couple of years ago that the lighting in the CryEngine's awful. I think it looks amazing. Amir Switzer has done work.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's a whole new beast, But yeah, it's definitely good stuff. What what I really want to see though is I want to see the ability to have emotes in third-person view. Like it's driving me nuts that when you type in chicken, in order to see your character doing the chicken, you have to hit F4 and tab out, and by then the animation's half over. Like
I don't know. I like to know that I'm
but-
doing the chicken just from my head movement now.
Yeah.
So work out what I'm doing from my head bob. Oh yes, I'm telling someone to fuck off.
Damn.
Like,
Hey!
it needs to be where like you basically type in, like I don't even need to see myself typing it in. it would be nice to be able to type in an emote with a prefix that bypasses using the text window altogether. So you could type in, slash whatever, and it just knows that as soon as you type slash, it's accepting an emote or whatever. That'd be nice.
They do that sometimes in some games.
Some games,
you could just you can hit slash and so I could see them doing that. That'd be really easy to implement, I would think.
Well, there are old games that allow you to do stuff like that, as well as old games that let you do small scripts where you can type in a series of commands that you want to execute in order with X amount of time delay between each execution, which would be really nice because then you could do a combination of dance moves or whatever. That's the role player in me. I know, for some people that doesn't matter at all, and I know that at this stage of the game we have plenty of emotes, so I'm sure that can wait. But long term, anything that gives the game breadth and depth outside of just combat and your roles that make you money is gonna give the game longevity. Because at the end of the day, if I only have half an hour to log on, and the game is all business, where if you log on, you're either fighting and making money or there's nothing to do, then I'm just not going to log on and I'm going to get bored because, But if the game's got things that'll keep me entertained for 20 minutes or an hour or 10 hours or 40, then that's a whole other thing. And so, you want to have those things that let you do stuff during downtime.
As long as I can flip people off and shoot at them, I think that I'm one of those guys of simple pleasures. As long as I get somebody to, well, that's the thing about it. It's about the competition. You go, you poke on the guy, and he winds up being a pushover. Then you go and you poke on the next guy, he's a pushover. Then you find that one guy that was just sitting there with his mining laser, minding his own damn business. And whoops.
So Bored, as a Pokemon player, how would you feel about a Mobiglass app that simulated a similar gameplay mechanic?
It would be too silly, wouldn't it? We wouldn't need it, and it would be just a silly quirk thing.
Great.
Well, what about if you're on your Starfare and you've got a 7-minute jump time? You're like, I got some time to kill before we.
I'm sure that there will be a player-run website that will be basically Pokemon where you just have to catch flora and fauna in the Star Citizen universe and take pictures of it. Stuff like that. Stuff like that will happen.
You're creating businesses.
Oh man, of course.
Quit it.
That would be fun. That would be a fun player-led thing. I don't think they should make a Moby app for it. Well, maybe they bloody will. Maybe they will because they're going to have pets, aren't they?
Why not? Cool. We need stupid in transition downtime games.
I'm worried about having pets as well now because
it's interesting. I
shouldn't be able to have. You shouldn't be able to have them on your spaceships because what happens when your spaceship blows up and you've lost your
Fluffy,
your lovable cat? Oh my god. People will lose their shit.
I worked 10 fucking weeks to get one rare drop cat.
No, nobody makes me bleed my own cat.
There's going to be loads of streamers literally crying on stream when their pet dies because it died in some sort of
salty fur-covered tears.
I'm sorry. I had to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm hang on a second. I'm registering the domain saltyfurcoveredtears.com. Okay.
Probably already some form of sex porn site thing. I don't know.
Hey, God, no.
Rule 37. Rule 37.
Is it Rule 37?
It's
37 porn.
No, Rule 37. Come on.
My list has only got 35, sorry.
Wait.
But what?
We all stop talking as we Google.
I'm not Googling. I'm watching BoredGamer here. He's really looking hard.
It's my reading. I see all these different incorrect meanings of what Rule 37 is. Psh, whatever. Stupid Google. You fail.
What's the porn rule?
Oh man. What happens in the verse stays in the verse.
It's Rule 34.
Oh, is it Rule 34? Did I get it wrong?
34, yeah.
Oh, wow, you're correcting your rule.
What? Oh, man.
Did I fail that? Oh, well, whatever.
It's failed. Yeah. I checked what Rule 37 was something more sexist, even. That means
Wow.
there are no girls on the internet. Is rule 37.
What the hell? Wow,
Basically,
that's
it's
a bias.
anything you can think of is pretty much exists in the internet as porn of some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, if you can think of it, it exists as porn on the internet. Which my friend Deathcore will send you the porn, as you said.
No,
I wonder if
no.
there's only rule 34 of this Pokemon. Oh God, he sent it with immediately. Like he's got it open
God.
already. He's amazing.
Wow.
And you think I'm joking as well?
I believe you.
I don't want to see none of that brony shit again. Please, no. I'll pass.
It's normally much worse.
Don't hate. Just be accepting. Just shh.
It'd be
Just
like,
let it happen.
oh, there's no Star Citizen Banu porn. He'll find it like that. It'll be like bam.
Turtle on turtle action.
Good God Almighty.
You know how the
Wouldn't that
turtles
be
like pop their head out from under the shell?
The more recent thing he sent me actually was all to do with ASCII stuff. It was like really good ASCII porn.
What the? Somebody has way too much time.
Oh my God.
I'm thinking that there's a damn application that will actually transmit some of your pictures into ASCII. I'm betting that's what it is. I'm hoping that's what it is, because otherwise,
it's people making them.
Wow.
It's people making them.
Wow.
Okay. And it's
I do
amazing
titties.
I mean, some of them are awful. Some of them are shite, but some of them are like you're like, wow. I mean, that @ symbol is really quite saucy.
There you go. There you go. That's all I can do.
That's the best you got. Yeah,
that's all I need.
Way to disappoint.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hey, Bored. So here's a kind of tough question.
You think they're a D cup?
No. Of all the games that you've played, can you think of anything that you would really like to see included in Star Citizen that isn't really on our docket of crazy scope already?
I swear, if he says a Pokemon app, I'm going to cry.
Interesting question. Probably.
Yeah, I know. It's. I mean, because we have such an array of features already.
I mean, there's loads of stuff that I could semi-want with like politics and like political intrigue and stuff, but I just don't think it would be appropriate.
Or it'd be hard.
I got this one. Ooh. I got it.
Okay, what you
Big
got?
Big Benny's job, actually a Big Benny's driver. There you go.
Well, yeah, I mean, they joked about it, but that's gotten such a following.
It's probably gone.
I mean, why wouldn't it be a mission? It's just a delivery mission. That's awesome.
I'm sure, and I'm willing to put a bet on it that the training cargo mission will be to pick up and take Big Benny's noodles.
Wow.
I'm almost sure of it now. It'd be like
it'd be amazing.
Literally a delivery driver. Big Benny's. It makes sense.
If they haven't thought of it, they're going to listen to this one and hear it now. That's going to be interesting.
Loads of people will almost certainly give the same advice with that. I mean, as soon as you come up with anything, someone else came up with it before you. That's already been in the ether.
Well, I mean, we actually have
internet rules in the chat now.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Well, we actually have an internet drinking machine inside of the game with not the Starfarer, but the what is it? The Genesis. Yeah. It actually has its own cocktail making machine.
Yeah, the thingamajig.
Yeah. And so we have so many different things. I'm almost kind of nervous about actually adding another feature. I mean, what next? We're gonna animal herder, nerf herder. There you go.
They're all like mini games to me. I don't think that they're actually. Giant mechanics. So I think that cosmic mixy thing and looking after passengers and stuff, all tiny little mini games.
Well, and it's interesting too because they want to make sure that all the games involve player interaction and it's not just leveling up in a skill per se, but there are some kinds of skills where just knowing the numbers and playing it where it's not necessarily a skill of your twitch reflexes of like how well can you hold that mining laser or how well can you maneuver your force grappling hook. There are some things like if you're the owner operator of say an industrial node, the skill might have to do with how well you can juggle the needs of your workers, their and all that. So in that sense, the gameplay still it does step outside of like the manual dexterity kinds of skills. So I hope that they do have a variety of game types.
They have talked about those nodes. They have talked about doing manufacturing and industry, even if it's just very simple. And I hope they do it. And I hope the economy, they have a living, breathing economy. And I don't mind if the players don't affect that economy too much, because we're going to have 9 NPCs to every 1 player.
Right.
So, I mean, that means that we're only going to be a tenth of the economy.
One of the big undersellings of previous MMOs that I've played is that they actually had add-ons or applications, sub-applications that would basically completely screw or skew the economy. And so I'm really hoping that players can't do anything like that. That's one of my biggest concerns.
If there's
is the economy.
any vulnerabilities, they will be found.
Yeah.
With that sort of stuff.
They'll have to, just because they have to find a way to like, if the economy is broken, that'll wreck the game. It wrecks every single game that ends up having bloat. It's what, in the end, wrecked games like EverQuest or caused them to spiral out of control where the balance just, is killed, and anyhow.
I remember a mechanic in your favorite MMO of reference, EverQuest, where they actually had, like, if you killed X amount of trees, the deer wouldn't grow, or the deer wouldn't get.
The deer wouldn't grow.
No, he
well,
doesn't know what
I'm
he's
saying.
talking about, but he's talking about
is,
faction, right? Is that what you're talking about? Like,
I'm believing that's it. That basically every single piece and part and parcel had an effect, and that if you were to take out certain, like, say, if you were to strip mine a certain area of a certain resource, then like the dragon would come and chew on people because he didn't have enough deer, and the deer couldn't.
It wasn't
those
that
kind
cool.
of things.
It didn't have that kind of subsumption.
I didn't know if it had that or not, but I just,
there were games that
the guy
wanted
was
to do that.
complaining about it.
Like
He was. From what I understand, what I was reading, he said that he'd wanted it to work like that, but that the players themselves were too busy killing everything, and they never really let it actually have a chance to take off.
Now, that wasn't EQ. That might have been something else. I know, like, Skyrim had
Ultima. Sorry.
Oh, okay, Ultima.
Ultima Online. Oh, yeah.
That's it.
So same generation of MMO, but different MMO. Yeah.
Sorry.
I will say this: have you ever played Spore?
Mm-hmm.
You have. You remember the space age where, like, you would get all the tools for sculpting planets and all of that, or
yeah.
Or have you played the more recent game on Steam called Subnautica?
I have played Subnautica. In fact,
yeah.
I can't. Is it not Facing Worlds? What's the name of the company that makes it?
Ooh. Man, I should know that.
Something Worlds.
Yeah, I've been playing that a lot recently. Really great on its take on exploration and salvage, and like interacting with all the alien animals and collecting that data. So I'm really looking forward to exploration in Star Citizen. I hope they do a really, really good job with it, obviously. But what would be really nice is now that we're getting into the procedural generation on planets, is taking another look at the idea of players eventually being able to own parcels of land and build, potentially. I mean, I know that you don't think
I don't think that'll work. I don't think that'll work. Not with the way the servers work. Because people will be on multiple instances. Right. Even.
Well, maybe. Yeah.
I think capturable structures, but I don't think player makeable structures.
Well, what about structures where the players can have an effect on their growth and or decline? Because the regular cities were supposed to be able to expand.
Yeah, that's different. That's different though, because that can be stuff.
Well, that's okay. So I'm not saying that we have the direct control to go around and place the bricks per se, but what about if the players come together and they can select plans, and as a group of players or an organization decides to sponsor a colony, and as they funnel their own resources into it expands. And
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that. I think that might work.
Now, and if it's something that's what do you call it? It's modular. Like maybe an organization could buy a plot of land so that one structure is a big enough investment.
A prefab.
So it's not like individual player owned per se, but it might be, it still might be player interactable and so on and so forth. So that you could put it
Makes me think of the
we're definitely going to see space stations and planets and colonies heavily affected by players.
Yeah.
Whether that's just because they're doing lots of missions there, whether that's because they're running lots of piracy there, whether it's not that they're not doing any missions there, and them not interacting is what's causing that planet to decline. Whatever. So I think that will definitely be there. That there is an issue with doing stuff that affects planets. Is that there's going to be multiple servers. We can't have more than like 100 or a few hundred people in a single instance. So if you're having capturable structures, if you're having structures that get affected by other people, it might not necessarily be fair.
Right. Well, I'm thinking on a scale that might work. Meaning, and rather
Later
than
day?
being like no, I'm thinking on a scale of like you're putting money into a structure that takes months to change. So that the
Yes.
org has to dump like a
See
year
that.
plus, or maybe you find a small planet where it needs to be terraformed, and there's an NPC corporation that's trying to terraform it, and the players choose to align themselves with or against it, and as they funnel their resources in or pirate and block the trade lanes, the successors, and then the players might have some ability to impact the choices that are made as that planet shapes. So they over the course of
I
a
think
year
that's-
or two of real life, we actually see some changes. Like maybe they would have to set it up so that the planet was almost terraformed, because obviously the time scale would be compressed. But I don't know. I just
I think we'll see stuff like that. The issue comes when if stuff can't get communicated to the main server and then back to us, because all of the stuff that everyone's doing on their own little instances gets chewed up into data, sent off to the main server that says billions of pirates have been killed in this area. Less pirates here now.
I've always said to myself,
more of the kind of changes that go up to the server and come back down would happen much more infrequently. So it's not like a real time change that you're seeing, but if it's something like every month the server updates,
infrequent changes are better.
Bases on the overall economic changes, so it does those mass calculations or something. But
No, I like that idea. I definitely like that idea. I think it would be cool.
I've always considered to actually be a fair idea.
Habitat,
Subnautica.
There's a
Oh my
planet
God,
actually for that.
great.
I believe there's a planet that's all underwater.
And Subnautica.
Yeah.
I just watch other people play it. I played it a little bit in VR, but it makes you feel very sick very quickly.
Oh God, I want to play in VR so
because it's
bad.
confusing.
I'm a scuba diver, so like I've done underwater, and
that might actually affect you worse, because you will be expecting the change in your ears, which you don't get, and it just makes you feel weird and uncomfortable. It's the only way I can describe it. You might be totally fine.
Oh, I gotta try so bad. God, I've got such a raging nerd hard on for VR, and I can't believe I didn't end up getting an Oculus already. But the problem was like I was gung ho about the Oculus since it was first, the inception of its announcement, and then boom, they released like all these competitors, and now I'm like, oh, I have to wait to see which one is the best, and then really none of them are perfect yet. They're all very first gen, so I'm like, well, I better wait, because Star Citizen doesn't even support it yet. So as soon as Star Citizen is like, we're now supporting it and it's in, I'm going to be all over it. Like,
Did they specifically say Oculus?
Originally, yeah.
So did they?
Star Citizen are supposed to support all of the mainstream headsets.
Oh.
So that will be Oculus 5 and probably any open source VR headset, probably.
I mean,
if not, I'll have to budget to work. I mean, it'll be fucking easy.
I mean, I've known that people have expressed concerns about whether or not if the game needs to be built from the ground up with support for it. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I don't know. The CIG guys have pulled miracles out of the bag, so I trust them to get the job done.
I mean, we'll let them do their thing, because they might have built it with some of the support in there. They've got half of the CryEngine team that originally did it. They've got a load of VR experts that are working on it. I mean, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I can't wait to see to fly with the VR track IR again. I mean, I bought in on that way back when, and I don't even use it anymore, because I don't know. Like, I don't even want to use it to aim gimbals. I just want to be able to look around my cockpit with it on. But in order to do that, I want to get rid of that stupid circle and dot reticle that's automatically there anytime your character turns his head. To show you where you're looking. I don't need you to show me where I'm looking. I'm looking where I'm looking.
Yeah, I think VR is just going to be better for that.
Oh yeah,
I'm not a fan of track IR because I get distracted very easily. Like I'll just be looking at shit, kind of crashing my ship or shooting the wrong thing.
Right.
With track IR.
Well, no, I agree. I mean, track IR is a temporary holdover between now and VR for me.
So how did you get started into the entire YouTube thing? I know that I've asked this question before, but nobody probably will ever see that episode again. So let's go ahead and ask the question again. How did you get started in YouTube into that field? Can you give us a little intro to your history?
So I just finished doing restaurants, and then I wanted something a little bit less stressful. Played some cute games. I was playing a bit of D3, and I thought no one really does D3 content that's short and snappy, that gets to the crux of what I want. I want to know where I can get this. I want to know how I can do this. Why has no one done videos on this? Why are they always 30 minutes long for something that can take 1 minute to explain? So I just started doing D3 content, just explaining.
And then we drag him on our show, and we have him in here for like a couple hours, probably dying. Are you dying yet? Are you doing all right?
You look so mellow.
Okay.
Mellow is the word.
Mellow.
I've been thinking of the entire time.
It's nice and cool here now. I mean, it was so hot throughout the day that I'm pretty exhausted, but not in a I need to sleep way. Just in a it's nice to be cool.
Yeah.
So I was doing W3 content for a while, and one of my friends showed me StarCitizen. I went, I quite like buying things like ships. Ooh, these ships. How much are these? Oh, they must. And then I just did some research and was like, well, I'll buy myself an Avenger.
All right, I was just about to say, what was your first?
That's a good first ship. I like it.
Yep, it was well researched. I went, okay, I've got about $50-$60. Buy this Avenger. This looks good. This is the best I could get for the money. And I still think it is. No. No.
You used to have the original one. Was the question? Sorry.
I don't know.
He's thinking on that one.
I don't know. I don't think I do.
Are you excited about any of the big ships? Like, I mean, do you?
I'm excited about the Polaris.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the Idris. I wanted an Idris. I just don't think I'll be able to manage one, not even with a team of people, because I think you'd need a dedicated team too regularly to use it together. And the people that are going to be really good at the game, I don't think they're going to want to pilot an Idris with me. I think they're going to all want to fly their own ships and be good. I need a team of derps to fly my Idris with me.
I mean, you say that, but what role would you see yourself in on a ship like that? Do you want to be the captain and the owner, or do you want to be just the pilot or the gunner or the engineer or
the actual role I'd be on a ship like that was mine would be the chief warrior. That I'm just like, oh my god, we're losing money. Oh my god, the ship's damaged. That's so much money. Oh my god, you've just fired the railgun. That's 30 grand.
I'm just saying
30 grand shell.
We might need people like you. I mean, I might be able to help you out with flying an Idris or whatever you need in the future. You just let me know. So
all the ships easier to maintain. You can have more control over the crew.
Yeah.
You know what everyone's doing. No one's clogging up the toilet.
I mean, wow.
Costing. It's funny because you bring up a good point. Like, I really think that people underestimate. Like, I think the big military ships like that are going to burn money to fly. Like, they are just going to be a flying money. They're going to have dudes with piles of money, and they're just shoveling them into a money burning furnace.
There are people that have they're like 5 or 10 of them in an org that have bought a javelin together. That's a project. Okay, it's got no 90% of its gear inside is gone because all the military stuff is stripped out. So that's a proper project. That's going to be amazing, good fun. But you're going to need so many people to invest in it and then to fly it effectively. Otherwise you're just flying a floating treasure chest for pilots before.
Oh no! Yeah,
one fully laden caterpillar will just go. Hang on, they've got 10 people in there. Ram.
Yeah.
Run in, steal it.
No brainer. Take it.
the javelin by far was most intriguing because it was such a quest, because it was an adventure in a box. You know what I mean? An org adventure. It was a come together and really, you know, my only
What
thing with
about
that is
the
I don't think I would ever want to be a partial owner on something like that because I feel like that would cause too much drama.
Yeah.
So,
what about the derelict Bengals?
I
Those nightmares.
you
So
know
I think that's more cool though, because that's something for groups of people to come together and work with. So if I was involved with the Bengal and
multiple
trying to capture it,
organizations to
all I'd want is to get some footage
Uh,
of the interior, get some footage of the deck, and then have a cut of the money of its value. That's it. I'd want a small payout and
I
run out.
I would totally play the field. I would say, hey, X group, I know where a Bengal is. How much will you give? Hey, G group, I know where a Bengal is. How much will you give? Okay, great. You're going to give me this. You're going to give me this, and have like both going to be rivals. And so when they go in there and start their mock war, I'll just roll in with a crucible,
Nom nom nom.
or maybe,
Oh yeah, a
yeah,
reclaimer.
yeah, yeah.
Nom 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 nom.
It's suck up even more money. It's like I could care less about the ship. I just want to see what kind
well,
of a war I could start.
that was close to my original opinion on the Bengal, and then I saw the videos, and now I'm like, oh god, oh god.
I mean, it
Oh,
looks it
that's
looks
the
amazing.
working one. That's the
And
working one. You've got the derelict one with the holes in it, and like the Vandal was here written all over the side. And
I mean,
yeah,
I'm interested to see what ships we are actually allowed to get. Can we
Yeah,
requisition a kingship? Can we get super dreadnoughts? I mean,
right.
or are they there just for show? And there's like one
how
of
the
them.
hell
Is
would
there
you
just
find?
one
I kind of
retribution super
yeah. I
dreadnought?
think there really should only be like one.
And it might even be destroyed by the time we actually get into the game. Like it might die in Squadron 42 for all we know.
Yeah,
I'm thinking. See, Operation Pitchfork goes and launches this giant nasty wave, and then all of a sudden, here we go with the Vandal pounding down the doors, and that's going to lead into Squadron 40. There you go.
no.
That
The
would
Squadron
be
42
fun.
is going to happen before we go into the verse, and
But don't they
Pitchfork
have
won't happen
episodes?
until afterwards.
But don't they
So
have episodes? So
I
like get
don't.
10 missions, and then we're going to get another 10 missions.
So
Like
Yeah,
maybe it's
but
over an expansive
I
time.
personally think that those missions are going to be what keeps the zombies at bay while they finish the PU to a point where it's fleshed out to the where it meets the standards. I
Instead of
think.
brains, are screaming for bins.
I do think that they might write Operation Pitchfork properly into the law, though,
That'd
based
be
on what
awesome.
happens. But I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of civilian massacre where the civilians rose up to fight the Vandal, and they were never seen again.
Yeah.
Poof.
Oh man.
um,
I
Yeah.
don't care. It'll be awesome to be a part of it.
and
I
I'm
don't
I'm
know.
hoping.
They
pretty. I'm
might
pretty.
actually make it winnable.
So,
No,
do we think that
you are
devs
mistaken.
will be able to
They
take
might.
control of ships if they want to? So, do you think
Yes.
they'll be able to take control of Vandal?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. They'll
Is it
probably
that-
be able to spawn them at will.
Because I'm hoping that they can go, well, I'm going to be flying the Vandal Kingship, lol, 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 and stuff like that.
Just-
I mean, that would be
Just
amazing
like-
if they could do stuff like that, and they could do little set
I
pieces.
think it'd be more like a rafflecopter sound. Ruffle, ruffle, ruffle.
There was a game I used to play called Firefall, which
Yep,
is a
an MMO
yeah, MMA.
shooter, sci-fi,
Yeah,
futurish.
and they had this big event where there was loads of bosses just smashing around, breaking up the major cities, and they were all controlled by devs. These just
Damn.
guys flying around that were spawning things. You're like, oh my god, there's a dev, and he's
Yeah.
angry.
And he's angry.
Arr!
That was really fun
Dev
because
smash.
you know it was a real person, and they were there just for your amusement, but also they were super powerful.
Talk about OP.
Yeah, but it's
That's-
great.
that's
That sort of OP stuff's great.
Yeah.
And I am really interested to see how ground battles
Yeah.
and any form of ground combat and or just exploration will work. Because
Actually, I'm agree with you on that one. And the thing that I'm wanting to see is actual EVA drop. So like the Marines in lower have nails, which actually plummet down from the atmosphere into the ground and just have a rapid assault.
Special Forces Airborne, yo.
Yes, I love that. Please let me have that one.
Yeah, no, it would be really nice to see if their ground combat couldn't take on the kind of epic scale like you see with like PlanetSide 2, you know, where you've got all kinds of crazy stuff in certain war situations. But I mean, I know that's not the major focus of the game, and even so, I mean, I hope there's enough missions to play as a player that you wouldn't even necessarily have to set foot in space if you didn't want to. But I mean, that's so much content and such a long range plan. It's really hard to know how that'll work out. You know, so much work.
Yeah. It's just it's one of those things. I'd actually like for that function to be in the game at some point, just to be able to actually kind of have like a very loose steering of where you can drop the your group of people and actually land in EVA, straight from EVA into Atmo, and just drop in. That's actually
Cool.
something that I'd be looking forward to.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
cool.
I'm thinking that it's about time that we wrap up.
Oh, probably. I mean, you know, people do go to bed.
Nah.
At some point, that would be very nice, actually. It's getting quite, oh my god, it's getting pretty late here.
Certainly, I figured that it would be. You got any questions for us? I always like to ask that question. Traz doesn't like me asking that question.
I don't think so. I mean, I've talked to you guys reasonably regularly, or at least have in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you looking for? Are you going to buy a Polaris?
I would love to. I don't think it's in the cards right now. I mean, I need to know, like, I would love to melt some of the assets I have, but when you have assets in a package, you can cross chassis upgrade, but I've never seen them make a cross chassis upgrade for a ship like the Polaris, you know. So I mean, even if I were to take one of my 890 jumps and be willing to dump that to push it up into a thing, you know, and that's
one of my.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, guys. But you realize that the reason that we did that was for the community. Like, because I can't fly those ships. Like, what am I going to do? You can't fly big ships.
Yeah, of course you did that for the community. Of course you did.
Yeah.
Partially.
So you're so selfless. So selfless.
Hey.
Hey, I'll be able to drive it. You know, that's the thing. Every now and then.
The story behind that was originally when we decided to do the completionist package. That was because Robin wanted to take. I was like, baby, you have all the ships that you like, and she's way pickier than me. So I had pretty much like one of every hull type. I had basically half of a completionist already in the ships I owned as far as value wise. And I was like, you know, if we get the completionist, all we're gonna get is the scythe, because it's the only ship I didn't have, and she wanted the scythe, and I would get the Million Mile High Club, which was something I wanted, that, you know, I couldn't get any other way. And I was like, you know, but that's going to leave you with like thousands in ships.
You only need 1,000 referrals.
I know.
Come on, bro.
Well, I have it. I have it.
What?
I don't need 1,000 referrals.
What? 1,000 referrals?
1,042 referrals gets you Million Mile High Club.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredibly high.
And I haven't even gotten 5 referrals yet because.
Yeah, I haven't gotten 2.
I've gotten everybody I knew into the damn game, or they don't talk to me anymore because of the game, you know, before they started the referral system. But
I know a question I actually wanted to ask you too.
It
was, what did you think the Gamescom ship that they are going to be announced is going to be?
I think, Gamescom. So not CitizenCon.
Gamescom. So this is coming up next month.
Yeah, close. Well, I mean, we know the Argo.
That's going to be in 2.5. That's not the Gamescom show.
Yeah.
The leaks.
So,
the leaks.
Maybe. Yeah. Where's my list of leaked ships?
So the Terrapin was the ship on there that said ready for sale.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was the one that I went to first because I don't think it's going to be the Corvette yet. You know, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, I would hope it's later. I would like to see the Corvette later, please, later, like maybe later.
When you can donate more money.
I mean, I still got to donate more.
I'd like to see that.
I gotta go donate plasma for a few months.
Wow. Starving artist here.
Yeah, I do want to see the Hurricane. I do want to see the Origin 600. I'm not so fussed.
What do you think the Origin 600 is going to be? What size ship? Where do you think it'll fit into the Origin line?
So I think that it's going to be either one of two things. Either it's going to be Origin's answer to the Constellations, Or it's going to be, because the only thing we actually have on lore of it is that it is the elite series of the Origin ships.
Series.
So it could be just the super, super, super cool 300 series. But
What is the 890 then? What is the if the
890 is a super yacht. It's a sub.
it's a
Corvette.
space yacht for a lot of people. I mean,
But I
that's
mean
not
that
really-
is super elite, isn't it? That's kind of elitist.
it's not like a supercar. It's a yacht.
Okay,
So I think they might be like
talking- okay.
supercars.
Yeah.
Like I think they might
Alright.
just be extremely like high quality everything. But I couldn't work out what size it was going to be.
Yeah,
It's either going to be
competition for the
fighter,
Phoenix.
the Constellation. It's kind of yes, exactly. That's what I.
I think your first guess is where mine is. Where I think it's going to be a freelancer to Connie sized.
Yeah.
It makes sense because it's another series up. So, but and then what else we got? We got the shooter one with all the guns. The
That's the
storm,
Hurricane.
the hurricane, the typhoon.
Oh boy, the tsunami.
Yeah.
We got the last final five and the trivia question, and I think it's about ready to roll out because he's about to fall asleep at his computer.
Sure. No, same for me.
I'm flagging somewhat. Apologies.
No.
Oh, you're fine. You're
No,
fine.
Every time we do this show, Vadrian keeps me up past my bedtime. Like, my girl.
I'm
kissed
sorry.
me and walked out sad that I'm
Wow.
not there. I blame you. For
No,
all
man.
my difficulties.
But damn it, never mind.
So 5 questions, yo. What about that?
All right, you ready?
Here you go for it.
All right, flight control of choice. BoredGamer.
What flag control of choice? What?
Your
Yeah,
control scheme.
flight controller of choice.
Oh, mouse and keyboard.
Dirty mouser. Really?
Well, I use everything, but
Nice.
this is just so much more versatile if I want to jump from first person
Yeah,
to not first person.
yeah. Sure enough. Fair enough.
Favorite flyable ship and loadout.
Saber, and I know people are going to get really upset, but it's the plasma shotguns because I'm really brutal with them. Like people are like, I can't hit anything. I'm like, I kill everything.
Yeah, they're nasty. I don't really. People can't hit with them. You just gotta get
people-
close enough.
No, you don't even.
Face wreck.
Nah. You don't even need to be that close. I mean, against against NPCs,
Okay.
you can snipe out the pilots so easily. Just a couple of shots, they're just sniped, and this can
Gotcha.
ships float around.
Yeah.
With players, it's a little harder, but if you're behind them, and you can be with the saber quite easily, you blast them a couple of times, they're dead.
Nice.
They're dead.
Mm.
Did you have to pick those up in the store? Because they don't, like in 2.4
Yeah.
you could get them for cheap. But
It's I use rec.
Oh yeah, I gotta do that. But I thought you can't use rec weapons in the universe. You're talking about an Arena Commander then.
No, I use them in the universe. I don't know if that's a bug, but I use them in the universe.
Well, I'll have to explore that because I have more rec than I know what the hell to do with. I don't even spend
Most
that stuff.
anticipated game mechanic.
Mining / boarding. It's too close to call
Yeah.
it.
And
That's cool. I
ship
like the FPS.
ship combat, close and personal, hit 'em at range, some variant strategy. You've already answered this, but hey. Shotgun.
Well, I mean, yeah, at the moment, shotgun, but that will change.
All right, you're stranded at a station. Someone parks a single-seater ship. I've really got to rephrase that. Leave it to them. Conf maneuver, mark 'em and take it.
Oh, and assess the situation longer. I mean, it depends what I was doing. I mean, I'm not a murderer. I wouldn't just go around murdering people. But that said, if I went, there's no repercussions for my actions here, and that's clearly a lot of money that ship's worth, or there's something in it I want, I'll just take it. I just weigh it up.
All right. And this is the very last one. This is Vadrian's trivia round. And here's the fun part. Here's the rules of the game right now, Board. And, this is mainly for you. We do this for every guest, but with the people viewing also get to participate too, should you get the question wrong. So you got 30 seconds to answer the question. Don't Google. I'm watching you. So what it is I'm going to ask a question that I'm thinking that you might not know. And if you get it wrong, the people also get to actually answer the question before the end of the show. If they get it right, they get a $5 ship skin or a subscriber flare of their choice. Same applies for you. If you get it right, you get a $5 subscriber flare or ship skin should you actually get it, or you can gift it to somebody as a token of generosity. That's always an idea. Always an idea. So here you go. I'm going to go ahead and on the hour, I'm going to go ahead and ask the question. The question is in 5, 4, 3, 2. What would a vandal not be caught without?
Would a vandal not be caught without?
I think
Lore-wise,
I know that.
lore-wise, what would a vandal not be caught without?
I don't know.
Now, there's like a 15-second delay, so all these knuckleheads are probably...
Is it nice?
You got it.
Yes, it is.
You got it.
Vadron broke out the easy question tonight.
Give me another one.
That wasn't really an easy question.
It was an easy question.
Nah, it wasn't.
Plus, like, Board's a lore head. I've read most of the lore. I mean, I've missed a few things here and there, but
if you don't know the lore, that one's
super studied. You know.
But basically, they consider their knife to be a religious thing. So there you go.
Congratulations.
You can give my $5 token to someone else. People.
Some people will actually do that, and some people don't, and it's always an option. So there you go.
You're gonna have to up the ante. Be like,
I went through
2 hours on a Corvette that I made.
I went through so many random StarCitizen trivia answers in my head. I mean, just when you said that, I was like getting ready. I was prepping myself, getting in the zone. He's going to ask me who the commentator for the races is. Trevor Basque. Bam! Nope. Just right in there.
See, boom.
Nope.
You guys don't have to nerd out on some lore. Vadron swears he's a lore nerd.
Well, I'm just starting to read the lore again because I'm going to start doing a series on lore.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
But I want to do it differently to other people have done it because I don't want to copy.
You had about
content.
10 seconds left. There you go.
10 seconds.
All right. Well, anyway, so moving on. Hey, shout out to our audience. Thank you for spending your listening time with us at Station42 and visiting in while we had BoredGamer on with us. If you have any comments or requests, definitely leave it to us in the comments. Hit us up on YouTube, Facebook. Send a targeted missile with a note attached to it. Whatever it takes. But get us your feedback. We need it. Always.
I'm not fans of the missiles.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. It was very much appreciated. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
We would like. And if you haven't already, please give us a like and a subscribe. It keeps us motivated. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you next week. Traz?
All right. Here we go.